Back in September, a guy called Rick Pryor, who's essentially the union rep of 30,000 London police officers. He's the Met Police's union rep, chairman of what they call the Police Federation, the police union. He voiced his concern, a very real concern, that more and more officers around the capital, but I suspect around the country as well, are reluctant to be proactive, to confront, to deal with, to arrest suspects of ethnic origin, suspects of colour, because they fear that they could end up in a vexatious racism complaint, and that the police watchdog, the Independent Office for Police Conduct, has a bit of a track record of not backing serving coppers. So if they get one of these vexatious complaints that, no matter how flimsy, is sustained by the IOPC, they essentially lose their careers. They lose their jobs, possibly. So rather than do that, they back off. That's what Rick was saying. Well, this is what he said when he talked to Alex last September. Let's have a quick listen.
Do your officers now worry about arresting people like this for fears of being accused of racism?
Yes, they do. And they are also hesitant about involving themselves off-duty if they see antisocial behaviour, for instance, people with their feet on the seats on trains, because they think they won't be supported if they intervene. This is a marked change since I joined the police service 28 and a half years ago. We've not only, when we had a warrant card in our pocket, we felt obliged to intervene in those type of situations. And now, officers more than likely wouldn't for fear of the consequence of doing so.
So he gave interviews to other media outlets as well, Isabel. I mean, what are the Police Federation saying? That he's lying? I mean, you talk to any coppers, current or past, and they'll tell you that this is a problem. This is a serious problem. And you can just tell that it's authentic. And yet he's been sacked. Why?
I mean, what that is downright cowardly on the part of the organisation. They seem unable to face up to the truth, and so they're shooting the messenger. And this is such an ugly part of our institutions now, you know, that I get so many emails from people, including from inside the police, by the way, they're so desperate to reveal things, and yet they're terrified that they'll lose their job if they're even seen remotely engaging with anybody about anything that goes on behind closed doors. And it's awful. How do any of our services get better as a result of that type of fear and secrecy? It's right the way through the NHS, by the way. You know, the terror of speaking out about anything. It's awful, really, that for example, eminent doctors are not able to speak out about what goes on, things they don't like and things that really worry them, perhaps even dangerous things that go on in their own hospitals. They can't speak out because they would simply be fired. I really hope that Mr. Pryor is somehow comes up with somebody gives him an amazing job offer to make up for what he's suffered, because it is disgraceful that he should have been sacked for this.
It really is, and this is a career officer. I believe he worked in the Royal Protection Service for a while, but he's a career officer. He's been a copper for more than 30 years. You know, stepped forward to represent his fellow officers, and then the union treat him like this. As I say, what are they suggesting? That he just stood up and made this up? That he's lying? I don't believe he's lying for a second. Ask any copper. This is a serious problem. And I think it's a serious problem in Starmer's Britain, that this is what we're doing more and more about clear and present serious problems. In Starmer's mode, we just act like they're not happening. What about, was it 2 weeks ago, the ludicrous MPs on the pathetic Home Affairs Committee staring the nation in the face and telling us that following the blatant two-tier approach to the summer riots, Southport and all that, there was no evidence whatsoever of two-tier policing or two-tier justice. I mean, come on, that's ridiculous.
It's completely and utterly gaslighting the population. It's obvious that there was two-tier policing. You know, you and I could sit here and rattle off half a dozen examples of that having happened, and it links into what Mr. Pryor was saying. There is two-tier policing for the very reason that officers are terrified of being hit with a vexatious claim, and we've seen these vexatious claims made time and again. You know, it's the easiest thing in the world just to start bleating that you're a victim of racism or this or that or the other. Of course, sometimes people genuinely are. I'm not saying not sometimes cases of appalling behaviour, particularly by, you know, the wrong type of police officers. But I understand why many good and dutiful and honourable officers are afraid of the way that they may be themselves become the victim of something totally spurious if they try to do their job properly. It's appalling.
Exactly right. And I mean, also we lose a lot of very good officers like this who just don't want to put up with this kind of pressure. The IOPC, Independent Office for Police Conduct, has got a bit of a bad reputation for not backing officers but backing the complainants, hence the increasing fear among coppers that if they get on the wrong end of some kind of racism complaint, they're screwed, they're finished, no chance, you know, and that is not good. Rick Pryor says that he feels like he's living in North Korea, and he's calling for a judicial review on what he's talking about and what has happened to him, and I hope he damn well gets it. Honestly, this is supposed to be the union that represents officers. This guy has spoken up for serving rank and file officers on the front line, and the union has sacked him. Unbelievable.
It is disgusting, and I hope the one thing he absolutely must not do is shut up. He is going to now have to lean into this outrage and make a campaign of it, because he can turn some bad into at least some kind of positive by highlighting what a disgrace that is, what's happened to him, and trying to play a part in changing the culture. And I can quite understand if he doesn't feel like doing that right now, but I'm heartened to hear that he's going to try and get some kind of overturning of this. It's actually unbelievable, isn't it? It's unbelievable.
It's Starmer's Britain for you, a weird place, an increasingly weird place.